In this tutorial, we're going to create a room that has a child ceiling and children collision to make its bounds. To do this, go ahead and select the 3D front settings and give it a name. And hit the OK button. As you can see, if you use the WSAD keys, you can move around the map, and if you use the middle button on the mouse, if you press it down, you can toggle and look about. Also, the E and Q keys will raise and lower you. At this point in time, there is no collision on this, and of course, as you see, no ceiling. It's also all inside graphics, so that's why you're basically seeing through the walls. It's meant for you to be inside only. Alright, first of all, go ahead and select this object, and you're going to want to go ahead and create a child object. For this, we're going to do it through the properties to get it nice and centered. Go ahead and hit the little box on there and add one in. Go down to its model, select the model. For this, I think I'm going to go with ceiling 2 on that one. The scale, if I remember, is slightly off on this model, so I'll readjust it. And we'll hit OK, and it's going to just put that in there as a child object now. And as you can see, that's now been added in. Same thing with the ceiling. There we go. You can't see it because you're looking through the top of it. Let's go ahead and select that child, because right now we got the whole master object, which is the room. So go into child mode up here, hit child, and click on that ceiling there. And if you see the little blue access control there, go ahead and grab that, and you can move this up and into place. I'm going to go inside the room to do adjustments here. There's a little bit of a crack. You can also use a page up, page down. There we go. Can't see much detail in this thing yet because we've yet to add texture to it. We have it selected, so let's go over here and go to its texture. Click that little box and add 2 textures. That's how many this model has. For the first one, I'm not too sure. Let's go ahead and just select ceiling 1 there for the first one, and the second one, let's go tile 2. I'm not too sure if I got the order right on that. We'll see. And hit OK. It's not too horrible. It could be, of course, switched up. Let's see. Switch it up real quick just by in that switch the order on them. Now if you go to it, it's the other way. That's not too horrible. It's where the matrix looks, just go down to other mode. And there you go. Now you have the cap to this whole room. But even still, there is no collision, and like I said, there's no back faces. This is meant to be an inside room only. It could be placed inside of another model to complete it out, but that would be later tutorials. You can see a little bit right there, but most likely you're never going to be up to the thing, so I'm not going to worry about scaling that to be perfect. The models were made at 2 different time periods. Alright, let's go back to the object mode and select the model again. And once again, just to demonstrate that this is a parent-child relationship, I'm going to use a page up and page down, but you can see the whole thing is moving as one unit. Alright, so that pretty much covers child objects. I use this quite a bit. Light switches, slot machines, all the buttons, the reels, the handles, doors within a frame, the frame being the parent. Get into it in a little bit later, but how to wrap it into the coding. Fairly simple though. But for now, let's go ahead and look at the collision for that. for this, go into this mode here that says collision, right there. And make sure we still got our model selected here, which we do. And for normally if you'd have like a box out, you know, like a box in the middle of the floor, let's show an example of that. I'm going to go ahead and, there we go. Got a box like that. Let's go ahead and, oops, go into the master or main parent mode, select it. Normally you could handle collision fairly simple with this box. You could just go and hit collision sure. Now you do have collision with that object where pretty much ever its bounding is going to be. However, the room is a little bit more of a complex situation than that. Let's go ahead and delete that with the delete key. Select the room again. We're going to want this object to have a kind of a multi-collision thing to set it up on our own. So for this same thing, let's go over here into this children's mode, which is under collision. Hit that little box, and for this we got 4 walls basically that we want to cover. If you start getting into programming gravity, of course you would have to put one on the bottom, but same concept applies. It just has to be within the bounds of these matrix lines, and it will pick it up that it has collision. Anyhow, we're going to want 4 for the exterior walls at the moment. So go ahead and add 4 of these in just real quick like that, and as you see they're all in. They're all going to be stacked on top of each other. Pretty much probably in the center of it if I remember right. To be able to see them here, let's go into the collision mode. Sorry, now I know where I'm not seeing them. Okay, this is probably a good thing to show you guys why. Probably I see other people having those problems. Even so, you want to come in here and hit collision true, because otherwise that's all off. So it's not something in a view mode. Later on, I'll probably program into the engine to give some kind of visibility for it, but a different color or something. Anyways, back to it. Go back into the collision mode and go ahead and click one of those. Not too sure exactly which one I got now, but it really doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and select that. And over here you can see its properties. These work off a different kind of matrices that interact with the collision real nicely. Kind of cleans everything up for it. Basically it's a min-max type situation. But if I remember right, and bear with me, you can also move these with this is using the arrow keys, not the WSAD key, but the arrow keys will move the model around. We're going to want to put that thing just about right in there. That works. Alright, and a quick scaling lesson. Go ahead and hold down the control key, and now if you click and hold that, if you move side to side, you can actually move that around. And what we're going to want to do is basically stretch this whole length of the model here. These also could be done holding the control key and of course the arrow keys. And I'm going to go ahead and stretch it the whole length there. It doesn't have to be exact, unless you're putting your aspect into a rat, you're not going to get through that. And holding the control key, and I'm going to hit page up. Go ahead and cover that wall there. Now as you see, this wall does have cover collision. As I was saying before, it has to be within the matrix of the model. So as you see, we're coming to the wall and then it's kicking in. And basically build all that collision there. And now I'll repeat the step 4 times now. Probably just gonna quickly go through this real quick so you guys don't have to bear through all of this. Just be back in one moment with the completed version. Alright, now as you can see I got all four of the walls in there. And that should cover any basic collision that doesn't, you don't have any kind of jetpack, or you're not placing any kind of gravity that where you'd fall through the floor. Otherwise you'd place one here on the bottom. No big deal. You can go ahead and view this thing into different modes. You know, we'll see through the walls. We can see some of it. Let's go ahead and go over to view, and now you can go into the point mode. Kind of just put the model into little points, but now you can get more of a view of how the collision looks. Usually something you don't ever visually see inside of a game, but as you can see, all the red area is area that would not let you move if within the original bounds of the object. So let's go back to solid and give a better look of how this works out. You have the player on an equal level there where they're not going to be able to change their Y position. You move around, hitting that wall there, that one there, that one there, and that one there. And of course the whole thing is now bounded. If you go ahead and go back to the objects, go ahead and grab a hold of it. As you move this thing around, it's all one piece. It's all one object now. So it's kind of like if you know the game by the company, Casino Slots. The slot machines work off that same aspect. A lot of children models off of them. Been using a lot of the events to tie back into the scripting. That's a little bit for the more advanced user, but it's really not anything hard to do. That pretty much concludes this tutorial. That's the goals I was looking to show off this one.